1.
DRC, this is Tac 2.
This is Mushu.
And the legend formerly known as Jeremy from the Death Rattle crew.
This is Cult Classic.
This is Hometown Hero.
And this is Recognized.
I'm Rob from Velen's Chosen podcast.
And I'm Eve.
And I'm Grant.
This is Ben from the Dad Legend community.
Hi, this is Mark from the Fireside Talks.
This is Abar.
Hey guys, it's Spivey.
Hey, what's going on? This is Andrew from the Happy Hearthstone podcast.
Hey, I'm Avantis.
I'm Zeroshio.
And I'm Versika.
Hey, it's Blisty Guy.
I'm Black Lace.
And I'm Autumn Spain from A Worthy Opponent.
Hey everyone, this is Adam.
Hey, I'm Joe.
Hello, I'm Max.
I'm Dan, the host of Hearth Coach.
Hey, this is John from Well Met. You're listening to Coin Concede.
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 Coin Concede. The top of Tier 1 Hearthstone podcasts.
Coin Concede.
Coin Concede.
Coin Concede.
Coin Concede.
Coin Concede.
It is harder than I thought.
Greetings.
Hello.
Greet. My greetings.
Well met.
I greet you.
Greetings, traveler.
Greetings, friend.
The pleasure is mine.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 100 of Coin Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. My name is Kenny, and I go by KCCO Gamer. And all the way from Thunder Bluff, Louisiana, we have Cinder.
Keeping it 100.
And from the Maelstrom, Louisiana, we have Appa.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And joining us from Gadgetzan, New York, we have RidiculousHat.
I hadn't heard that intro yet, and boy, that was amazing.
And Orgrimmar, Illinois, we have Cora.
That was just about the coolest damn thing I've ever heard.
It's only going to get better.
That was amazing.
Oh, stop.
It's only going to get better. Thank you, Cinder. That was epic.
Oh, God. That memory lane just started off. This is going to be an emotional podcast for me.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
It'll be nice. I got my Coin Concede shirt. We're celebrating 100. How you guys feel? 100?
I'm actually really nervous.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just interject here for a second. I remember the first time I listened to Coin Concede, Cinder and I became Facebook friends via the LA Hearthstone group, Louisiana, after like DreamHack Austin last year. And I used to drive between Georgia and Louisiana to see my parents and go back and visit my girlfriend or my ex, because I used to live in New Orleans. And I was like, man, I need something to like listen to. I used to listen to like audiobooks and stuff. And then Cinder introduced me to the podcast. And I remember the first time I listened to the podcast was after Cydonia won the America's Championship. And you guys had him on here. And I was like, man, this sounds really awesome. This sounds like something I'd really want to do. Like, just like talk about Hearthstone and just like, I don't know, sit around like talk about the metagame and stuff. And like, I've been getting to do that for like 60 plus episodes now, and or 50 plus episodes, because I think it started in like the 40s. But yeah, it's crazy to like look back on, think about me like just driving down the interstate in my car listening to it, and like now I'm actually just on the show. It's really crazy.
Yeah, lots of people in our community have actually been recently saying we broke Twitch because of episode 100.
They knew it was going to come up. They're like, no, shut it down. We can't have Coin Concede on there.
So we're on YouTube Live. So this is all new stuff to us. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but thanks for those of you that are joining us live. I think that's pretty cool. Most of us in Discord have received that notification because I sent it there, but yeah, we'll throw out the YouTube VOD after we get it posted, and yeah, it'll be fun. What about you, Cinder? What was your your first?
My first Coin Concede experience.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh, this is awkward because I remember listening when Kevin was on, and just kind of feeling like, like he kind of felt like he had the wind knocked out of him. I was like, man, they need some gas in this podcast. And then all before I knew it, it was like, hey, we're looking for a new host. And I'm thinking to myself, I've always been the kind of person that I don't just want to play a game. I want to be involved. I want to do something in the community. And with Hearthstone, I just didn't know what that was. And I was like, can I actually do a podcast? I don't even know. Like I've always loved the talk radio format, and this is a similar thing. And I've always wanted to do it. And I said, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Threw Kenny an email, and lo and behold, he decided to give me a shot. And 74 episodes later, I'm still here, so I guess I haven't offended anyone too badly.
Good choice,
We need a
Kenny.
guess. We need a guess. So
I guess I attribute most of that gas to Andres, who's not here, because he came on at the same time I did, and Andres brought his mastery of audio and he introduced us to like how good the sound could be. And once he left, and I picked up after him, I've taken up that sense of near perfection that he always sought with the quality of the podcast.
Cinder does a great job with like audio editing and everything. I actually got on the show because Cinder and I became friends, like via the Louisiana Hearthstone group and everything. Became Facebook friends and then like close, like real people friends after that. And he messaged me on Facebook one day and he was like, hey, Andres is actually leaving pretty soon. We're looking for like another host. Like nothing's set in stone yet, but like, would you like to come like try out for the podcast? Because like I was a competitive player at that point. I was on Cyclone. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I had done the Karazhan review. I think I stepped in for Cora for that episode. And he was like, yeah, you might need like a better mic. And I was like, all right, done. Mic is ordered. He's like, it's not set in stone yet. I'm like, it's on the way. Like, I can't take it back. it's already almost to my house.
Better hire me. I'm out some money.
Yeah, so I got that, and like they tried me out, and they're like, all right, sure. So it's rest is history, as they say.
let me give a precursor here. We're going down a little bit of a trip down memory lane in the beginning here, but we will have an actual episode of stuff to talk about. So
yeah,
don't stop listening now. If you want to get to the nitty gritty, listen later. But we will. It's episode 100. We gotta cover a little bit of it. And then Hat. What about you? You're the newest one here.
Hi. Yeah. So I have this vague memory. My house was transported away in a tornado, and I woke up, and I was on top of a witch. No, wait, that was something else. So I think my first Coin Concede memory, I was listening back when it was Andres and Cora and Kenny and Cinder, pretty close to this lineup. And I remember an episode where it's like, Cora had just hit Legends, like, oh yeah, I've hit it about 24 times. Like, what? Huh? And then
Okay.
I was trying to keep track of all my different podcasts. I think I might have stopped listening for a little bit, but then I got a message from Cinder's like, hey, Cora's going to be really busy, and you talk a lot, so do you want to be on the show? By the way, Kenny's going to be out, and Appa's going to be out this week, so do you want to do a podcast? I was like, yeah. And then here we are, many moons later, and the gang's all back together, and we have this cool Brady Brunch layout.
Yeah.
I specifically recall when I asked you, you said, wait, the Coin Concede? And I'm like, I don't think we warrant a the yet.
Yeah.
That's preemptive.
100 episodes in, maybe.
Well, maybe now. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
We got to 3 digits.
Yeah, it was the Coin Concede. It could have been a Coin Concede.
There was briefly another Coin Concede.
Yeah, well,
True.
they were apparently more prepared, but then stopped after one episode. Yeah.
So, and my long-standing Cora.
Oh, Kenny. So, it was a couple years back now. And I was on my old team where this was back when I was a player, sort of. Still in college, so a lot has changed now.
Yeah. Burning down, or like fire alarms going off. And...
Yeah, fire alarms going off in my dorm room back before I owned my Blue Yeti mic. A couple ex-boyfriends ago. And my old team owner was like, yo, you're in broadcast, right? Do you want to do a podcast? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Sure. What does that mean? And he's like, yeah, I know this guy. His name's Kenny. He's interested in starting a Hearthstone podcast. Like he's got like all these ideas for it, and he just needs some co-hosts. So like, would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, I guess. sure, let's try it out. And that's how I met Kenny. Had absolutely no idea who he was before that, and just sort of jumped in with Kevin, who was also briefly on the team that I was on. And we started a podcast. And now, several hosts later, and several years later, and a lot has changed. But
yeah, you can almost put it like we net decked it first, and then we
we got
substituting, and we got the refined list now, so we're good. We're good now.
One dorm room to another dorm room to my basement to my bedroom to the road back to my bedroom, and now we're here, 100 episodes in.
That was a labored analogy.
Oof. It's crazy.
All right, shall we keep going for this episode?
Yeah, let's roll.
Let's do this. All right, so ladder, I'm going to start off just because I've been moving. I'm still at rank 7. As you notice, if you're looking at us on YouTube Live, I'm in a new room. I don't have a wall right here behind me.
He has a room. It's great. He's not at like the end of this little broom closet hallway.
Yes. I have a door I can close, and they can have the rest of the house to do whatever. So it's nice. Can't wait to kind of decorate, get everything finished. I'm super sore. That's my Hearthstone week. Haven't played Lich King yet. So, yeah, I'm really sad. I
know Hat has a decent amount to say about the Lich King fight.
Yeah.
This is meant to be a positive episode.
News segment.
Our Hat's rants.
Let's go with our Hat then.
Okay, well, I'm dirtling around in Legend trying to make Vanish playable again. God bless Mr. Yagut. He's doing what he can. And, yep, I am playing a little bit of Arthas. I slogged through the Lich King the first night. It took 4.5 hours and a lot of time mashing the restart button and just cursing out Barnes, because Barnes is... Yes, the Barnes giveth and the Barnes taketh away. But I got there. I definitely feel better about it now than I did at the time. And,
I'm laughing because I was watching the stream at the time.
I believe you said, can I get a high roll one time for the 6th time? And eventually I got there, but Hunter, I think, took an hour, and most of that was pressing restart.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But, it's fine. I have Arthas now.
What about you, Cora?
I have not gotten Arthas yet. I have only beaten the Lich King with one deck, and it's the deck that I have been mercilessly tearing through ladder with. Yeah, I went from 5 to Legend like 2 days ago, and now I came in like 3,500-ish, and now I'm sitting around 300-ish. So I'm gonna try to make a push for top 100 if I can. I haven't had a top 100 finish since like 2015, and that's a little bit too long ago. So even though points don't matter, points never really matter for me anyway. So might as well go for it.
It's just a bragging right thing at that point.
Yeah, it is. It's hey world, I don't suck. You suck.
Cora's the arena specialist. He's also top 500. No big deal.
Lol.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll make Twitch chat nicer, right?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
They're gonna love it.
You're just lucky because you have 2 X chromosomes.
Hey, I draw wild growth a lot. If that's not skilled, then I don't know what is.
Right?
Yeah.
Outskilled and outplayed. Oh.
Speaking of outplaying, Appa, how about you this week?
What does that even mean?
You outplayed everyone.
You outplayed everyone to get the Legend, right?
That was a compliment. Be more grateful.
It's clearly what he meant.
I just played BGH and Mind Control Tech on my Druid deck. I high roll people. Yeah, so I haven't actually played that much since I actually hit Legend with Jade Druid, because I've been saving my efforts for tonight and tomorrow. Because again, even though points don't matter, like Cora pointed out, I've never actually had a top 100 finish. The highest I had was, I think, it's like either 107 or 104. I lost my last game at like 99, like about a year ago. And I ended up like outside of top 100. This is when top 200 didn't count for points. Only top 100 did. So I was like really sad. I just got like really disheartened, and I haven't like pushed for top 100 since. But I think I might do that because there's actually Hurricane Harvey just like hanging out, coming into Louisiana, and Taylor and I, who is the girlfriend and the roommate, we're actually evacuating to my parents' house tomorrow, so I have a bunch of time on the road to just hang out and play Hearthstone. So I'll probably be doing that all day.
All right.
Making the best of a bad situation.
Yep.
Yeah, Cinder's over in that part of the world too. What have you been doing?
Well, we're not evacuating, that's for sure. Been through enough of these to be like, really? Tropical storm, Harvey? Come on, give me a break. No. Take it totally seriously, people. It's creating a lot of like problems for people
we're
in
like
prone
we're
areas.
like an hour away from Cinder, so our part of the city is like
Way
much more
more
flood prone.
Yes.
It's like 15 minutes of rain like flooded our streets to like where you couldn't even like drive down them, or else your car was gonna stall.
But as for ladder, I continue to enjoy the nirvana of the ranked 5 floor. There's no pressure. I'm free to do anything that I want. Today, I played Free Shaman, and I don't care. And then I built a Benedictus slash what's the other guy's name? Hemedictus priest deck, where I destroy my deck and then take your deck and play with it. That's what I did.
God.
I'm having so much fun at the ranked 5 floor because like Legend is irrelevant to me because I will never get into the HCT. I just don't have the time in the day to dedicate myself to it. So I'm
an adult. So
I'm an adult.
Awesome.
I have a job. I have this podcast,
a
etc.
wife, you have infinite fur children.
You got a lot of fur kids.
Near infinite fur children. So I mean, also a lot of what I've been doing is actually just kind of messing around with builds for Team Hearth League, which RidiculousHat finally badgered me into entering. So our team has been doing a lot of practice and a lot of talk and building decks. So I've been using rank 5 for that as well, just kind of like testing out all the builds that we come up with. It's been fun. And our first match so far, 3-0. We're going to get there.
Nice.
Very nice.
THL's a lot of fun. I joined Novum last year, and I played, or last season. They lovingly referred to me on the team as the DQ, the Dairy Queen, because like half of my matches were either me like waking up late, getting into a DQ, or like my opponent not showing up.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I was referred to as the Dairy Queen. But THL's a lot of fun. If anybody like wants to get their foot in the door with like competitive Hearthstone, there's a lot of people like looking for like 5 seeds before like a season starts. Like after the season ends, it's going to be a while, but I would look into THL. It's definitely a good environment to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, I'm sure Hack could talk about it at length, given his involvement in it.
No.
But basically, it's arranged. Each team is 5 players, and it's arranged from the highest skill to lowest skill. So the highest skill person on your team plays the lowest rated person on, or plays the other highest rated, and then the lowest plays the lowest. So that way, if you've only gotten to like rank 15 in your entire life, there is actually still room for you in this format because you will play someone else of near equal history in Hearthstone. So there's definitely something for everybody there. I mean, there are like top 20 Legend players in some of the teams, and then there are like never got past rank 15 players on the same team. So it's a great environment. I've been enjoying it so far.
Yeah, Dwayne is playing this season, and
Yep.
and I'm not just the president; I'm also a member. But no,
That's
for real,
awesome.
I am the president. No big deal.
That is a true fact, true thing that he
Mr.
said.
President Hat.
Yes. Though I want to contest something you said, Cinder. How is it that you
Okay.
don't have time, but you're playing Meme Priest?
Well, because I this is what I do at
There.
lunchtime. I'm like, okay, I have an hour to eat this delicious pulled pork over rice that I made yesterday.
So that means maybe 2 games of Meme Priest.
That's like 47 minutes of Hemedictus and 3 minutes of pulled pork.
You're not wrong. What you said just now is an accurate statement. I'm actually today at lunch I played Rizakis Priest and went 5-1. Holy crap, that deck is straight fire.
You
It's
need to
gorgeous.
let me know when you're gonna stream Lunchstone, because like I get on Twitter afterwards because I'm like a young adult and my sleep schedule is non-existent. So I woke up at 1:30 today. And I logged on Twitter and it was like, hey, was Lunchstone? If you watched it, and I'm just like, I missed it. Are you kidding me?
Just follow me on Twitch, and you'll get a notification. It's that simple.
Is the name Razakis? Was that a thing before you came up with it? Because I've never heard it before, and I quite like it.
I've said like that was.
We referred to it as Razakis.
That's how we referred to it on the podcast when we reviewed it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we came up with it.
I like it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't
it was
remember
like
who did.
simultaneous, multiple people saying it.
Yeah.
You know,
we
independent.
may have broadcasted it first. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, it's Vicious Syndicate is using that name too. I forget where I saw it. Someone else came up with it first. I called that deck Disco Machine Gun.
It is like
that.
a machine gun, and then suddenly you're really dead.
Yeah.
All right, we got a packed show. Let's break this up a little bit here. So Coin Concede is supported in a large part by you, the listener. If you'd like to find out how you can support us and receive rewards in return, head over to patreon.com/Coin Concede. And yeah, a lot of people have been joining lately.
A lot.
You know, since I just mentioned it, let's just throw it all together here. So let's say thanks to our pledges this week. We have Dreamocracy. We have Rich M, Matt G, Matthew M, Sean P, Nick C, and Jasper. Thank you all for your support in this show. It just blows our mind again.
That was just basically all today.
Yeah.
Most of it.
We're up to 69 patrons.
Oh, we're adults.
Yeah.
We have 2 patrons that are giving us $50 a month.
Yes.
It's
wow.
Yeah, and a third
They
is
must
volunteer
really
to do
like
it.
us.
Yeah.
They're amazing people. And not it has nothing to do with the money. They're actually like the coolest people to just talk to.
That's absolutely incredible. The Discord is hopping every time I pop in. That's crazy.
All right, let's talk about our coaching since we're talking about pledges, our patrons. Let's start with Cinder.
I crammed in all mine basically in the last week. So I'm just gonna like glaze over this. Drunken Monk got his intro to Miracle Rogue with me, and I say intro because that's about as far as I can give anyone coaching on Miracle Rogue. But he got the hang of it, and that's sufficient. Dr. John, our Swedish patron, I taught him the ins and outs of Murloc Paladin, and he got his personal best of rank 10 afterwards. So congrats. Dr. Dreidel, one of our new pledges, he came to me with a Murloc Warlock Zoo. And he was like, "Well, it might not be good." I said, "No. Let's just do it. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Let's actually do it because the only way we're gonna find out if it's good is if we actually do it."
Mm.
And it actually is kind of good. Like, we made some tweaks, we made adjustments. The deck got better. It actually beat Druid, about 50-50. So, not bad. Good idea. Leviticus, he was done for the month. Like, he got to rank 5, so he just wanted to flip coins with Big Priest. And I have decided that Big Priest is the Hearthstone equivalent of, shall we say, crap posting on the internet. It's just like crap posting a game of Hearthstone. It's like, do I get Barnes? Yes, I win. Hooray. Okay. Who else? We did Samurai Flea. Samurai Flea had never played Control before. And so he came to the right person. We queued up Control Lock. We did fairly well, given, it's not friendly to Warlock right now, but he learned a lot on how to play Control, so that was great. And then Bodicus and I had his first and last session as a patron, since he is now part of the crew. Bodicus, we actually didn't play any games. He wanted to pick my brain about lineup selection and queue order in tournaments, and we did that. And we talked about it for a solid hour, and then I even wrote more after the fact because I felt like sometimes I just ramble, and it's hard to understand what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, I feel like that. Whenever somebody tries to pick my brain about Hearthstone, I'm just like, all right, strap in.
So I wrote.
You got 24 hours.
Yeah. Get ready for the ride.
Yeah. It's like, so how do you feel about this? It's like, you don't want to go down this rabbit hole, friend.
And one more note, Dr. John, I mentioned he's from Sweden, and when he first messaged me, he's as you often see with people who are English second language, he's like, I apologize if my English is not good. I'm from Sweden. And I was like, hey, no problem. So I get on the horn with him, and of course his English is perfect.
It always is.
It's something up, like Scandinavian people. They're always ready for their English to be terrible, and it's better than ours.
All of the Green Hat crew are Swedish, and their English is perfect.
Yeah, like their English is great. They just don't understand some idioms and they feel embarrassed about it. It's like, it's all right, dude. It's fine.
It's okay. I don't understand any of your native language.
Well, and I like the Swedes a lot too because they have barcodes on the side of their ship because that way they can Scandinavian.
Stop it. Get out. Computer, come back. My favorite thing about probably the meatballs.
We should keep this train going. Hat, you want to talk about your coaching?
Yeah.
You did not just say that.
I did. Oh, Cora, we're just getting started. Be ready.
How long have you had that one in the arsenal?
It's been around for a while. And once this train gets a rolling, it's going to be unstoppable. So, like, we need to be ready.
I hate you. You're one of my best friends, and I hate you.
Yeah. I accept that.
Scandinavian.
Right? So good. All right. So, I had 2 coachings this week with Littlefoot and Fumbles. Littlefoot was trying to get Legend with Murloc Paladin. I taught him the valuable skill of drawing Vilefin into Rockpool Hunter. And also the meta, I think, is definitely shifting away from Murloc Paladin being as valuable for a bunch of reasons. It's a deck that you can adapt to, and a lot of its competition, it really can't. But we had a good session, and then I rogued with Fumbles, and we went over how Miracle Rogue, you don't wait for the gadget turn, just kill them with questing. And that worked out a lot. And I have a couple sessions this week.
All right.
Yeah.
That is noted in the notes as a slow week for Hat.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's
several coaches.
Scan the Navy in.
Stop it. No.
You're encouraging
I
me.
can't.
And just be aware, this is going to get way worse.
I
before
haven't
it gets
moved
better.
on yet.
Yeah.
We only have so many minutes for this podcast. My
I
God.
haven't moved on yet.
Well,
Yeah,
to save some time.
Yeah.
So my coaching for the weeks, or my coachings for the week, I didn't actually get any done because there's one guy that I actually got in contact with. There was 2 people that I needed to coach. One of them I reached out to, didn't get a response from.
Was one of them Harvey?
I don't remember. Hat knows. I know them by
I'm
email.
pretty
not
sure
by
that's a
that
reference to the hurricane.
Oh.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was the story of the hurricane.
But so one of them saw my tweet and he was like, "Hey man, if like the hurricane's like being weird, like making you not able to like actually schedule coaching, just let me know and I'll hit up Hat or something." So my coaching for this week has actually been deferred to Hat, so that'll get taken care of. That was the only one left that I had to do, but Hat's gonna get credit for that one, so because he's a big old sweetheart.
And I had no coachings this week. Sir Zero, I'm trying to get to you. I have been moving, but I did get something put together here. We have a slow news section this week, so I put together this little sound clip for everybody. Take it away, Cinder.
Hey everyone, this is Rod from Tier 5. I wanted to give a shout out to the 4 awesome guys who make up Coin Concede. Kenny, RidiculousHat, Appa, and Cinder. You're true friends, and I can't tell you how much you've meant to me and the community. 100 episodes is something incredible, and I can't wait for the next 100. Keep kicking butt, and remember, if you see these guys on the ladder, Coin Concede. If you don't, RidiculousHat will embarrass you on his stream. Cheers!
What's up, Coin Concede? This is A-Bar. You're 100 episodes in. I just want to congratulate you on 100 great shows. Keep it up.
Hey everyone, this is Metal Dan.
And this is Fred from the Hearth Coach podcast. Congratulations to Coin Concede for 100 episodes.
They certainly have enough hosts for the job. Congrats, Dick. Kenny, Cora, Cinder, Appa, and RidiculousHat.
And good luck, guys, with 100 more episodes.
What's up, Coin Concede? This is Rob from Villains Chosen. It's hard for me to do anything in 30 seconds, but I just wanted to take a quick minute and thank you guys for everything you do. It's been a real joy knowing Kenny for over a year, over 2 years even now. But I just really appreciate what you guys are doing at Coin Concede and love that you guys have been able to come over at Villains Chosen and hang out with us here and there, especially Hat and Cinder and Appa. You guys are great. I hope you guys can get Cora to come back on here and there. And Kenny, please come over to Villains Chosen and hang out with us, dude. Let's go. All right. See you guys.
What's up, guys? Ray C here. And I just wanted to congratulate Coin Concede on reaching their 100th episode. Congratulations, guys. Keep up the good work.
Hi, Coin Concede. This is Eve from Valen's Chosen. Just wanted to say congratulations on your 100 episodes. You guys are the best podcast neighbors that anybody could ever ask for. Thanks for always coming on our show and bringing us onto your show. I really enjoy listening to every episode you put out and look forward to hundreds more.
Hey guys, it's Ben from the Dad Legend community. I'd like to congratulate you on your 100th episode. Many thanks goes out to Kenny, Cinder, Cora, Appa, and Hat for your dedication over the last 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more. Good luck, and remember, if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Hey everyone, this is Watchman from Velen's Chosen Podcast. I just wanted to give a big giant shout out to my friends at Coin Concede and congratulate them on their 100th episode. The content has been amazing, the hosts are entertaining and thoughtful, and the puns just keep getting better and better. Keep it up, everyone.
Hey everybody, this is ZT Dubs.
This is Rebobson.
And this is Evil Squirrel. And
Rebob.
we are Around the Hearth.
With a huge congratulations for reaching 100 episodes.
You're listening to Coin Concede.
Hi, this is Mark from the Fireside Talks Hearthstone podcast. And I just want to give a congratulations out to Coin Concede, their entire crew, for making it to 100 episodes. It's not easy to have the endurance to continue podcasting, even during times that seem like they're difficult or like people aren't listening. Thanks for participating in the Hearthstone community and making it a brighter and better place to be, guys.
Hi, this is Sidonia from TSM, and I wish to congratulate Coin Concede on reaching 100 episodes. Good job, guys.
Hey, what is up, Kenny, Cinder, Appa, RidiculousHat, and Cora? This is Andrew from the Happy Hearthstone, and I wanted to take a couple of minutes to swing by and congratulate you guys sincerely from the bottom of my heart on getting to 100 episodes. I know from being in the podcasting world, and specifically even within Hearthstone podcasting, what we do takes a lot of grit, a lot of determination, a lot of planning, and a lot of execution, a lot of creativity. To be able to have made it this far is really a huge testament to you guys. Honestly, like the growth you guys have been seeing in your supporters and people in your Discord, it's a testament to how you guys have really been listening to the community and crafting something that is truly special. I really count it an honor to call you guys each friends, and I love what you have done. I'm a faithful weekly listener to Coin Concede, so just know that I'm always on the other side of the recordings that you guys are putting out. I know your best days are truly ahead of you, and I can't wait to see what comes through each of you. Thanks, guys.
What is up, crew? Andres here. I just wanted to congratulate you guys on your 100th episode birthday anniversary. I don't really know which one, but congratulations. I'm really proud of you guys. I still remember the times when I was part of the show with great funness. It was a really, really good experience. All of you are great people, and I'm so proud that you guys have continued doing the show. Kenny, Cora, Cinder, Appa, and RidiculousHat. You guys truly rock, and cheers.
So there you go, guys. I hope that was, by the way, that was a surprise to the rest of the hosts here. They haven't heard that yet.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
You had to bring back Andres, didn't you?
I had it together until I heard Andres.
Yeah,
and then I lost it.
Me too.
Man.
I had it together. I didn't know Andres as well as you guys, as well as Cora, Cinder, and Kenny. But whenever I heard Sidonia, I was just like, oh, because that was like my first podcasting experience, or my first listening experience to Coin Concede, and now I'm listening to him like congratulate us like on the 100th episode.
Such a good guy.
It's so crazy. He's such a sweetheart too.
And it coincidentally, I heard Around the Hearth there. Ray Bobson, one of the hosts, is the 3 chair on my Team Hearth League teams. I'm the 2 and he's the 3. So we've gotten to know each other really well lately. We've all been clicking super well, so that's cool.
It's just crazy to think that how many podcasts I've been on over the years and how much has changed since I started this show. Man, oof. Thank you for that, Kenny.
We had to have at least a little bit of self-indulgence. We still want to have regular episode, but it's the 100th, so we gotta have a little bit of self.
We're gonna praise ourselves.
By a little bit, you mean the first 36 minutes of the recording.
Holy crap! Yeah, man. I mean, like, whatever.
Listen, dude.
Yeah,
like,
there were more I wanted to add in that, but it was gonna take forever, and it's tough to get everybody to respond.
No, Kenny actually told me about this.
Because I didn't know if she was going to be on or not. That
She told
was the honest
me
truth.
about this back when I thought I was still going to be going to China. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'll go to China. I can get recordings from pro players. Like, we can get some really important people. Like, this is going to be awesome. And then I'm going to Poland instead. And I was like, Kenny, fuck. What are we doing? I didn't know that he was still doing it. So this
Write down that time
apologies
stamp.
for the profanity. So I didn't know he still did it. It was an awesome surprise.
Yep. I tried to squeeze that in with my moving, but it's kind of last minute trying to get everything in it. So it's nice to get that out of the way. Okay, we are gonna. I don't know. Cinder has more surprises for us audibly later.
Just the one.
All right. Let's head over to the news. And we have written here, all hail the Lich King.
I don't know about that.
It's pretty much the news this week. That's all we're going to stick to, at least this week. I haven't seen him. But yeah, we've been down that road. So I want to hear from you guys. Did you guys get to play him multiple thousands of times?
Many times I played the Lich King.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a guide for Hearthstone top decks that I actually checked out the other day and had like a lot of downvotes.
Oh no.
It was a guide for mage that I used like an elemental mage to beat, like on the third try or something. And it's kind of difficult. You have to restart a bunch of times, but it's like mage and hunter are like the decks or the challenges that you're gonna have to restart a bunch. People didn't like the fact that they didn't win the first try.
You can't win on the first try with any
yeah,
of them.
it's very
you high
difficult
roll
to do it.
Murlocs or you high roll Barns.
Yeah, but I did end up getting Arthas. I actually had a decent time doing it because I didn't spend an hour on Hunter like Hat did. Took me like
Thanks for bringing it up.
a few tries to high roll on Barnes, and then I beat Hunter. And then after that, most of the other challenges were pretty easy except for Mage. Yeah, I got Arthas. Got that out of the way pretty quickly, luckily, because I know some people didn't have the greatest experience with it, but I did like the dialogue and like secret Easter eggs and stuff in the fight. Like if you played the Lich King, it had a nice little Easter egg in there, and if you played Arthas, he had a nice little Easter egg.
The best one was
but-
Snow Flipper Penguin.
I didn't actually see that one.
It's too adorable for me to spoil here, but
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's just too cute.
it's
I have
actually
something to look forward to now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure you play Snow Flipper Penguin. Or if you don't have time because, you're like moving and stuff, feel free to look up Disguised Toast YouTube video on the 19 unique interactions against the Lich King.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that finished it really quick. What was it, like within 2 hours or 2-3 hours?
Yeah, Chuck did it in like 210.
Yeah, I think it took me like 4+ hours because like I didn't want to use like the mage deck that everyone was beating it with, but I eventually gravitated towards that anyways. So it took me like an hour plus to like find a mage deck that could actually beat the Lich King.
Yeah, I just high roll Lackey Counterspell.
So I tried that and then so I restarted a bunch until I got Lackey Counterspell, and then I still lost because my deck was just bad. The rest of my deck was just awful. But yeah, so I just built like an elemental mage with like Jaina and stuff, gained a bunch of life, eventually outlasted him.
Let's see. I did Rizaka's Priest and got it on I think the third try, so I felt pretty good. And then I followed the common wisdom of just doing Murloc Paladin for that fight and just high rolling it. And for some reason I couldn't high roll it. Like as much as I do it on ladder, I could not get a 1, 2, 3, 4 going in that fight. So I ended up doing it like 20 times. It took me like 2 hours just for Paladin. It was kind of miserable.
Seems like you should just play a bunch of ladder.
Yeah, right. I feel I could do better on ladder. And then the third one is I'm going to do warrior, and the 100 armor. It's intimidating, but I'm like, there's a way to do this. There's got to be a way to do this. And I ended up doing basically patron warrior, and just get a frothing, like use the patrons to deal with the Frostborn wave, and then use frothing berserkers to just burst a bajillion damage. But every time I would get a berserker up to like above 10, like if I get it up to 20, 30, whatever, he would have a freeze effect for it. It's like, have you been holding a burlock for like the entire game specifically for this? And I decided I didn't care that much about Arthas, so I remain with just 2 ticks on the Frostborn.
I have one. It was Jade Druid. I'll do the others eventually, like I keep saying about all of the other heroics that I haven't done yet.
You're busy laddering to top 300.
Eventually. Gotta save some stuff for the stream.
Cora's too busy to mess around with fun stuff.
Gotta save some stuff for the stream. I like fun stuff. I spent 28 days playing Warlock. That's why I was at rank 5 on the 28th day.
Yeah.
Do we refer to that as fun or sadistic?
I had fun with it. I got to play a couple tournaments this month. I had a good time playing since it came out. I'm having fun with it.
You've had some time, so that's good.
Thank goodness.
We like having you on the show again. That's nice.
It's nice to be back. I'm getting all the memories and all the feels back, and you guys
Yeah, man, like I started the podcast whenever you were still like regular on, and you weren't like doing Hearthstone as a job.
Yeah.
Also, aside, congrats to you for doing this as a job and being gone for as long as you have been. But it's still sad because, like,
I know.
Whenever Hat came on, I'll be honest, Cinder sent me like the raw recording. And he was like, "What do you think of Hat?" Like immediately, I got this reaction of like, "This is new and different. I don't like it." And I was like, "I'm not sure how I feel about him. He seems like he knows. He seems like a know-it-all." And I'm just like, I miss Cora. But then, like the second episode, I was like, I love Hat. This dude knows what he's talking about.
I'm a total know-it-all. Nah, I mean, this was my month off. I've got some stuff lined up for next month, but I'm hoping to be able to fit this in at least semi-regularly again. It's too good to be back not to.
Yeah. Well, it turns out, Appa, some of our viewers agree with you on that one.
It's funny coming. Yeah, no, we're gonna pass by that. All right, let's. So we're gonna throw up a couple of links up in the show notes for the Lich King. I think Hat's been working on that, and then let's get over to Cinder. Have him do his thing.
It's the grand tournament.
Well, everyone, it has been a 5-month journey for the Hearthstone Global Games. It finally came to a conclusion this past weekend. The finalists, Ukraine, South Korea, the United States, and the Czech Republic, played the final 3 matches to determine whose country's team was the best in the world. The semifinal and final matches were not best of 5 as previous matches were. They were best of 7. So you got a chance to see almost every single class played in each match. And some of the players had to play twice in order to fill out, a total of 7 matches. Now, before I get to the results, I want to bring this up because I want to use this as a talking point later. When Rachel Quinico did the pre-match interview with all the teams, she asked Nyria, what's the role of everybody on the team? And in most teams, you have, somebody responsible for the practicing, somebody is responsible for the scouting, things like so. The way most teams split it up was by pre-match responsibilities, and then everyone just played their games individually with help from their teammates. Well, Ukraine did something very different. Nyria was responsible for all of the pre-match prep, all of the scouting, all of the lineup preparation, all of that stuff, all the practicing. He did that. Then they split up the in-game responsibilities between 3 players. Dr. Hippie was tracking the opponent's card and deck, remembering what's been played and what might get played. Nick Chipper was responsible for tracking their deck to remember what they still had in the deck. And then Colento was responsible for making most of the in-game decisions. He was the one actually reading the board state and saying what the best line was based on the information he was getting from the other two. So they what they did was they took all of the things that one person has to do in 75 seconds and they broke it up. And that's very different from a lot of other teams, because the other teams would just kind of talk about everything as a group during the turn. And you usually ended up seeing a lot of roping because they're trying to come to a decision. Well, they didn't do that. They had very specific things that each person had to do. So if you have one person concentrating on just the opponent's deck, you're like guaranteed that he's going to know exactly what's remaining, in the deck and what's been played. And same for your own deck and same for the board state. So I think what they did may have been part of their success. But we're going to come back to that. Let's get to the results for now. The first semifinal match was between Ukraine and South Korea. This match opens up with the Druid Mirror, but Colento opens with his preferred build, the mid-token Druid, as opposed to South Korea's Jade Druid. The card advantage ends up winning that match, and they go up in the first game. Game 2, South Korea strikes back with Kranich running down Control Mage with Token Shaman, but South Korea finds themselves across from Nick Chipper piloting the Hunter. That's his best deck by far, and Dahioni is helpless with his Control Paladin in that match. So Game 4 goes to Dr. Hippie in Ukraine in a Control Warlock Mirror with Handsome Guy, and Game 5, Dr. Hippie picks up Eye for an Eye from a Hydrologist to corner Handsome Guy's Waygate Mage. That ends up sealing the series 4-1. That was the fastest match of the day by far. USA versus Czech Republic. Despite Amnesiac's tough talk in the interview, the U.S. finds themselves in an opening deficit after Jarla's Jade Druid walks off a Dog Shaman. Firebat hits back with Murloc Paladin stabilizing on 2 life behind a wall of taunts against Pirate Warrior. Game 3 is a reverse of Game 1. Czech Cloud, though, wins with the Shaman over the Jade Druid this time to retake the lead. Amnesiac equalizes the series with a Bone Mare Secret Mage, of all things, against Miracle Rogue in Game 4. Game 5, Pokrovak is on his favorite class, Priest. He absolutely rolls Firebat's Pirate Warrior with big Priests. Barnes and Shadow Essence just doing the work in that match. But Dog swings right back in the next match with a convincing win on the unorthodox Dragon Priests against an unfavored matchup of Murloc Paladin. That brings us to a Game 7. It's an ace match versus Amnesiac versus Stan Sifka. Amnesiac on a Miracle Rogue and Stan on a Control Mage. Stan ends up keeping the threats of Rogue in check and ends up running Amnesiac all the way to fatigue. Amnesiac casts Hallucination at one point towards the end of the game with only a few cards left in the deck. He's offered among the 3 Frostless Janna and Ice Block. Team USA goes for Ice Block and ends up having no effect because he goes into fatigue. And of course, fatigue is damage on your own turn, so Ice Block is irrelevant. So there is a lot of discussion after the fact that Frostless Janna may have been the pick because they would have had near infinite value to continue to contest the board after running out of resources.
Yeah,
so
it was like mostly the fact they took like less than 2 seconds.
It was very fast.
Yeah, it was just like a snap pick, and like it's a very hard turn that they had, and people were very critical of that. Like
it was a long
the
turn.
Pace of play, yeah.
Indeed, and this win brings the Czech Republic the match 4-3, and that vindicates their previous win. Remember, Czech Republic was the only team to beat the U.S. in group play in the first stage, so they got their second win in the versus against the U.S. They certainly feel vindicated, being the better team, at least in this HGG. Hopefully next year we'll get to see these matches again. In the final match, this brings us Team Ukraine versus the Czech Republic. Ukraine, of course, arguably the highest skilled team in the Hearthstone Global Games. The Czech Republic, well, let's face it, it wouldn't be Coin Concede without my dogs going berserk halfway through the episode.
They're big Czech Republic fans.
Yeah, I am too. This was a tough match for me because, I picked Ukraine to win because they are just hands down the best. However, Stan Sifka is my power animal. Like I refer to him as Banana Senpai. Like he is the guy who taught me how to play Control Warrior by watching his stream. I love Love watching Stan Sikva play. Anyway, I'm not going to read the thing that Hat said at the bottom.
Please
you
read
can
it.
read
Oh my
that.
God, please read it.
You're a monster. I'm not doing that.
Please read it.
How about I'm going to report the match. Czech Republic's opening gambit of Stormwatcher mid-range Paladin is not enough to keep Ukraine's token shaman from filling the board and taking game 1. Game 2, Pokrovac equalizes for the Czech Republic against Control Mage with its natural enemy of Pyro Warrior. Game 3, Nick Chipper shows off his incredible recognition in this game, where he is against Token Shaman with Rizakis Priest, Shadow Reaper Anduin. In the final turn, the Czech Republic was at 17 life, and he had just Lyra on board. So he only had 3 damage. He had to deal 14 damage with Anduin's hero power. Not only did he manage to do it, and do it before the rope even hit, he had already gotten up and went and sat down at the bench. And Dr. Hippie was already in the chair before the game animations even finished. Like, Nick Chipper knew exactly how he was going to deliver 7 different hero power activations in that turn, and he did it and didn't even wait for the game to catch up.
He's a beast.
He was one of my favorite players. He still is. That kind of skill is unmistakable. So Dr. Hippie even tags in, sits down before the game fully ends. Then in game 4, this turns into a rallying point to the Czech Republic. Stan Sivka was playing his absolute favorite class, Warlock. He has a control lock up against Murloc Paladin. That's a difficult matchup. Stan Sivka stabilizes the game at 1 health. Just 1. Manages to find the lines to save the game, and ends up eventually, it took him like 3 or 4 turns to fully stabilize and take control of the board, but he managed to do it. That just is the turning point in the match for sure. Ukraine you can actually watch, if you watch the VOD, Ukraine just looks stunned. Like, Nyria's face is just staring off in the distance, like, what just happened? And there was a clear morale change, that went towards the Czech Republic, and the energy kind of drained away from the Ukrainian team. In Game 5, the Czech Republic ends up taking the lead in the series now, 3-2, as Prokhovac does it again. He beats Pirate Warrior with Big Priest, just like he did in the previous series. That's his favorite class, and he shows it. Game 6 now, this is match point for Czech Republic. Dr. Hippie tries to keep Ukraine alive with Control Lock against Jarla on the Jade Druid, but 11, 12, 13, and 14 on the Jade count, all on the board at the end of the game, is way too much pressure for Czech Republic, for that Warlock deck to stop. And Czech Republic takes it in 6 games. They are the Hearthstone Global Games champions. Congratulations, Stansivka, Czech Cloud, Jarla, and Pokrovac. Very well done, gentlemen. Hat, you may read your note.
Would you say they rolled through the bracket unchecked?
I won't. They were checked at many points because they didn't go 4-0. They went 4-3 and then 4-2.
I resisted the urge
I got you, Hat. I read your note.
I didn't want to make that joke while he was talking because that would make me kind of a checkler.
Oh my god.
So, let's jump right over to ACT China.
Disgusting.
I like how Cinder just ignores everything we've said.
The summer playoffs.
Disgusting.
The summer playoffs for the Chinese region have been being played recently, mostly the bulk of this past weekend. I wanted to bring this up because there's some really interesting tournament results. We talk about the dominance of Druid on ladder. Well, tournament is a very different animal because when you get to ban Druid, a lot of different decks emerge. And I want to take specific point at the top of day 1 and day 2, or stage 1 and stage 2, rather, of the Chinese playoffs. Highlander Priest is what they had this called. This is Rizakis. This is the one of Raza, Kazakis, Shadow Reaper, Anduin deck. In stage 1, it is not only was it the most played deck, but it had a win rate of 58%. The next most successful deck was Evolved Shaman at 52%. In stage 2, again, the most popular deck played, and it had a win rate of 56%. The next highest deck there were fewer games, so the stats are a little weird. But Handlock weirdly got about 18 and 12, which was really good. And of course, the few times that Jade Druid wasn't banned, what are you thinking?
21 and 7.
21 and 7, 75%. But Highlander Priest had nearly 100 games played in stage 2 and managed to hold a 56% win rate. This is incredible, you guys. Like, if you haven't, if you couldn't see it before, we can see it now. This deck is hot when Jade Druid is not around to prey on it, and it has quickly become the most popular tournament deck. Super interesting. I want to kick it over to our competitive peoples, Cora, Appa, Hat. I want to get your thoughts on that. That's also the other thing about HGG, about how Ukraine broke up their roles. So go. No particular.
Yeah, I would say, why don't you say something here, Hat? It sounds like.
Well, it's so Zach over at Vicious Syndicate, Zacho, who put together the Data Reap report, believes strongly that when you remove Jade Druid from the meta, Razaka's Priest has the raw ability to perform against anything, and you can tech it pretty hard against aggro, because by far the next most powerful deck in the meta is Pirate Warrior. And so, and beyond that, Murloc Paladin is not too far behind. I think that's a lot more targetable than the other two. But Pirate Warrior is still objectively very powerful and just kind of operating at a different level than the rest of the metagame. So if you're able to ban Druid and then target Razaka's Priest to make sure you can beat general aggro decks, it's pretty hard to tech against it. There's not a lot of stuff that's like, oh, this obviously smashes Priest. I think there's not a ton of counters that you can play, because Druid is by far the biggest counter, which is suppressing it on ladder. So, and if we look at, well, I'm not going to spoil the next section, but I think that the EU Summer Prelims are going to have a pretty similar picture to what we see here.
And even still, Jade Druid is definitely favored against Highlander Priest when you're looking at ladder stats, but Highlander Priest puts up a good fight. It doesn't race, but if you do get Raza down and then Shadow Reaper Anduin onto a board after turn 8 is pretty much going to kill most of what's on the Jade Druid's board, because it's going to be larger Jades. And then you just shotgun them, and they don't have a lot of armor gain. It's kind of difficult to continue putting on pressure and gain armor at the same time if they don't have Malfurion and the Pestilent out. So it's just it's a solid deck all around.
So I have a little bit more to say than just on the tournament about this. Would you guys mind me getting on the soapbox for a couple minutes?
Go for it.
We do that now.
Okay.
That's what we do in the podcast.
So this is Soapbox, the podcast. Welcome. I'm your host, Appa. So the thing with Jade Druid, is you build a lineup. Prelims are Conquest. So you build a Conquest lineup, you're banning Druid, then you're targeting another deck. So you're forced into banning Druid unless you're completely insane and or on drugs. Because that deck is disgustingly powerful and only loses to Aggro Druid. It beats everything else. And it even beats Aggro Druid 45% of the time, which is crazy, because it's worst matchup is 55 to 60%, which is mitigated with ramping really hard and getting 3 or 4 turns ahead with Wild Growth, Jade Blossoms, Nourish, and stuff like that. So I was actually going to do this last podcast, and I apologize that I'm doing it now on episode 100, but I have to get a little bit critical of Blizzard here. So Blizzard they're on the forefront of digital card games, because Hearthstone is by far the most popular. And in other games, in other card games like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, WoW TCG when it was around, rest in peace. Just card games like this, you have bans, right? You'll ban cards because you can't change them. They've been printed, right? So you just ban them in the format they're too good at. But Blizzard is on the forefront of digital card games, and in digital card games, if you have a decent programming crew, which they do, they get paid a ton of money to balance Hearthstone and design Hearthstone. They should be able to nerf cards, unless their code is completely spaghetti code. Where if you don't know what that is, I would suggest you Google it. But so I have to be a little bit critical of Blizzard here. So it's been 20 days since Knights of the Frozen Throne has been released, and it's been How long has it been since the Vicious Syndicate Data Reaper?
They're a week away. Yeah.
Yep.
That showed how like criminally disgusting like Druid is. I like Blizzard really needs to act faster than they have been, because they have these stats. They have these stats internally. They've had them for a long time, and they're a little bit like they're too conservative with their ability to nerf cards, I believe, because Druid is very clearly a problem. It like the cards in Druid are up for discussion that are the problematic cards, but Druid is clearly a problem. And I feel like they need to address that. And I honestly think, like, since they are a video game developer, it's a digital card game and it's a video game, they have the power to nerf cards. It does take a little bit of like coding effort from the programmers, but they have the ability to nerf cards. And I feel like they should have done it before now, honestly. I feel like they should have emergency nerfed something after like the first 10 days. Because I guarantee you the player base has dropped off, because it just sucks to play against a bunch of Jade Druid. Because like if you're playing like Jade Druid, you're losing to like Aggro Druid. Playing like Brazaka's Priest, you're losing to Jade Druid, but you're beating like Aggro Druid. Aggro Druid's beating Jade Druid. It's like this weird little metagame where like Jade Druid beats everything but Aggro Druid, and it just sucks for people. It especially sucks for new people. Because I've played on EU and I built Jade Druid on there. And I just feel bad when I'm playing like rank 23 and I'm just like crushing these people. This just feels, it's really not close, and I feel bad for these people because they just want to have fun with like their silly like free to play 100x because like they haven't played a lot of games on EU, and I'm just like, all right, Jade Idol, Wild Growth, Firekeeper, Natural, Nourish for Mana Crystal, and then like stupid Infestation. You have no chance anymore.
But wouldn't you dominate rank 23 players anyways? You are literally a Hearthstone professional player.
I mean, so the thing is like Daedruid's not that hard to make. There's like just a bunch of rares and like, some epics and stuff. I crafted Fandral a while ago because that was the only thing I had during Mean Streets of Gadgetzan was like Jade Druid cards. Because I had like Ramp Druid a long time ago. So I crafted Fandral. Now it's like not even close. The thing is with card games though, is by nature, you should have a chance to be a Hearthstone professional. And these people just have a chance. Because Jade Druid is just like so disgusting and powerful, and they're not Jade Druid. But my main point is like I really feel like Blizzard should have done something by now, and I really hope they do something soon because Jade Druid is a problem. Like, just statistically, it is a problem, which we'll get into later. But yeah, it's very strong, and I feel like it's unhealthy for the game because it like pushes control decks out of the format. The only reason like Highlander Priest is seeing any play is because it's in a tournament format, or they're expecting to like beat Aggro Priest and lose most of their games, like probably 70% plus of their games to Jade Druid, and just try and beat like Aggro Druid and whatever else people are playing. So just wanted to be a little bit critical of Blizzard because they're on the forefront of digital card games, and they have like this really rare opportunity to be like, they're not like technically the first for digital card games,
but they can set a precedent.
Yeah, they can definitely set a precedent here because they are the most popular by far.
Mm-hmm.
So like they should be taking like, they should be like stepping in front of this problem and being like, look, this is a problem, made a mistake, that's fine. Like 10 days in, if I was the CEO of Blizzard, I'd been like, made a mistake, that's fine. Let's just step in front of this, let's nerf a card, and then let's see how the metagame shapes up. Because like these stats are just like disgusting.
Well, on the upshot, it took them less than a month to make a change to Caverns Below. So I feel confident that they're considering it.
Definitely, that's pretty good precedent from them. It's just like it kind of sucks to like the people who like, you know, like let's get on Hearthstone at like a lunch break at work or something. Like let's play whatever we want. Let's play like a mid-range Shaman deck, or like let's play some mid-range Hunter, like Face Hunter, or let's play, I don't know, maybe like N'Zoth Control Warrior. Like that's just not playable for them. And like if they get on Hearthstone, like they heat up their like sandwich or something in the microwave.
Ew.
And
why'd you heat up a sandwich? That's gross.
or you go to
That's
Subway and
That's
you
not
get
the
a
important
sandwich.
part. Ew,
And you
Subway.
bring it to work.
Subway.
Or Quiznos, whatever. Shut up.
I
And
love
then they bring it
Subway.
to work, and they pull out their phone. They're like, "Hey, let's play some Hearthstone." And they just like get crushed by like 3 Jade Druids in a row.
Yeah.
That really sucks.
Feels
for, like,
bad.
players.
Feels bad.
Especially like
Feels real bad.
players that can't spend a lot of money on the game, like Dust or whatever, because they don't play a lot. They're just like there for fun. Like it sucks when people are like, Jade Druid, you lose, no chance. Like that kind of stuff like really sucks.
Yeah, they're fully aware of exit points in their game, and I know that they are watching this closely. But at the same time, I know that they are not going to make any balance changes ahead of
Prelims.
playoffs,
whatever it's called.
Yeah, and then they might make a change before the championship, but they might not. So we probably got a couple of weeks still before they'll say anything. Because if they even say something about it, it's going to influence the metagame, and I don't think they want to do that to the competitive players.
Well, that's like another mild point that I have too. Is like, whenever Ixar made that like post that we covered in the last podcast, where he was like, "We're covering this and everything," it's like, the thing is like, Blizzard keeps saying that like we're covering it, don't worry, like we're looking at it, but they don't actually like they're not open with us, which is kind of the problem. It's like you're losing like player faith because you're not just like, hey, we see that innervate or spreading plague or infestation is a problem. Like insert whatever problem card here. We see this as a problem. We're looking at X nerfs, X, Y, Z nerfs. Like these are the potentials. But they're just saying, hey, we're looking at it. And then they just like disappear for a couple weeks. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like you can do better as a developer. Like
I don't know.
The world's most popular digital card game.
I've been
setting a precedent here. Like just be better about this. That's.
I've been on the other side of the game development player dynamic.
Yeah,
and I've seen what happens when you open the looking glass to the development method. It is like not a snake you can put back in the box. Yeah. And I don't blame any development team for keeping that box closed. But they are communicative. They do get on Reddit. They do get on Twitter with good frequency, in my opinion, and talk to players and listen and communicate.
I would say that it's definitely good that they do get on like Reddit and stuff. Yeah. To be like, hey, we are looking at this, which is good. Just like I'm kind of nitpicking here. I'm just like personally, I would like to see like exactly what they're looking at. I would like to see them post like on Twitter and stuff because like not everybody gets on Reddit. Like let's be real.
Right.
But like a lot of people get on like Facebook, like the Blizzard Facebook, Blizzard Twitter.
Yeah, a lot of people see that.
Yeah, I would like to see them like post on there a little bit more. But like that's just like kind of nitpicking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, they are like the world's lead in like digital card games, so I would like to see them like kind of pioneer these kind of situations a little bit. But yeah.
So to punctuate Appa's point slightly, the European summer prelims deck lists have been submitted and for the most part been released on social media. And of these 77 players that are attending the European summer preliminaries, 77 of them have taken Druid, 68 Jades, 8 aggro, and 1 mid token, which I really like that one. Priests is 57 of 77, 74% of players taking Priests, mostly Rizakis, 1 control, 1 big, and 1 silence. And then a smattering of everything else, like you see Warrior, Paladin, Shaman in that order, as about half of the players taking those, which is expected. Those are the tier 1 aggro decks. And then a smattering of a few things down the road. Now, the other real big surprising thing, Mage. I did not expect to see this much Mage. 44% of players are taking Control Mage in the deck, and there's 1 Quest Mage. God bless that brave soul. But yeah, 33 Control Mages out of 77 players. I'm actually really surprised by this. This seems to be identified as part of
Frostlich Jaina?
Yeah, it's basically what's become of like when Freeze Mage and Burn Mage merged, and then you add Frostlich Jaina at the top, and you get Control Mage. It's a really good deck in the long games.
Yeah, it seems like people have started to cut like the Medivh because he can be kind of situationally good, whereas like Jaina's like, I'm gonna gain 3
always
life.
good.
and then
Oh,
like
yeah.
threaten you for the rest of the game. You know, it's like you can't play anyone health minions.
Yeah,
So,
so like the level 1 line, everyone takes Druid because it's assumed Druid will be banned, so you just put that to the side. So the 3-deck lineup, like the level 1 is usually Priest and then Murloc Paladin Pirate Warrior. Sometimes they'll throw Shaman in there as the second deck. And then the level 2 lineups are Priest, Shaman, and Control Mage. So there's a clear dynamic working in the prelim decks. So I'm really curious to see which lineup shakes out as the best. Because percentage-wise, the tier 1 decks say it, but there are a lot of pros who seem to think they've identified a level 2 strategy to beat that. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
There's like we've talked about this on a previous episode, but you're seeing a lot of control mage because it's kind of hard to win against priest with like priest of the feast. It's very good against shaman. It's good against aggro druid. It's good against like mid-range warrior. It's okay against pirate warrior, especially with Jane in the list now. Definitely good against like hunter and warlock and stuff. But people are bringing mage to like basically every list that you're going to see at prelims is you should look at it through the lens of, okay, this person is banning druid, then what?
Right.
Because you can't realistically leave druid up unless you're just saying, okay, I'm going to be 0-1 down in the series because you're going to play J druid and crush me, right? So you're going to like ban druid and then you're going to like try and target another deck because that's like dominant strategy in Conquest. So that's where you're seeing a lot of mage. It's because you're planning to like potentially lose to priest and like beat the other decks with mage and then like whatever else is in your lineup. But a lot of these lists are planning on banning druid.
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah, I would say
pretty much
druid
every
is,
single one of them.
unless there's some strategy that we haven't heard about that somehow targets druid. I'm seeing druid as the ban every time.
Yeah, I've seen a few people play like bring Waygate Mage.
Yeah,
how many exactly have bring
one person?
So
that
so
deck
the
doesn't
person that's
actually
brought
beat
quest-
J druid. Like it does 52%
If it
of
draws
the time.
the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you bring it to theoretically beat J Druid, but it doesn't actually beat J Druid enough of a percentage of the time to reinforce bringing it. So this one person's bringing Quest Mage is like planning on leaving J Druid up, which I think is crazy, but that's their strategy. So
I have tried to examine builds that target Druid, like because Dragon Priest in my testing has been extremely strong, and there are a couple other decks that can definitely beat it. But like you just lose to really everything else.
Yeah, it's
is the problem.
Really hard to do like all of your lists at once. So it's much simpler and much easier to like pinpoint a lineup and just like say, okay, Druid's just not a class. Just ban that, whatever. They can play aggro, they can play mid token, they can play Jade. I don't care. Just get it out of here. Let's build a lineup targeting whatever. Because it's just like so hard to beat like all the Druid decks at once. They're all so strong.
Right. This is kind of the same problem Warrior had a couple of sets ago because there were 6 viable archetypes.
Yeah, there were so many viable archetypes, and they all
and Warrior. Problem solved. I think Hat had something he wanted to add into the Druid discussion.
Well, okay. So I need to start by prefacing this. I do not wish to sound like a Blizzard apologist. I do not believe that this meta is healthy for the game. But there are a bunch of things going on here. First of all, Blizzard needs data. This is the first time they're ever releasing an expansion after another expansion. Ever, ever, ever. They have never done this before. So they need to understand what the world looks like. 20 days in, we have had 1 Data Reaper report. We have had 20 days of data. Think about how much data we've gathered in 20 days, how much the meta has shifted. Yes, J Druid is good, but a lot has changed since the first week, since the second week. The last meta on Goro, which was, I think, the best meta Hearthstone's ever seen, took 3.5 months to develop. This one is going to take significantly less time. But people are playing the same decks that were good last meta. They've added in new cards, and things aren't really... They might be solved, but in most metas they wouldn't be by this time. And I think jumping to the point where we're nerfing things 20 days in before prelims is a really dangerous precedent to set. Because then you get to the point where Reddit is expecting a quick fix every time. And if we had that in the last meta, then Ice Block and Primordial Glyph both would have been nerfed already. And the last meta would have been in a much less healthy place. Mage wouldn't be able to compete right now. And you'd find a kind of reverse arms race where Blizzard has to make reactionary nerfs, and they choose to make reactionary nerfs on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis or every time a new set comes out, and they wouldn't allow the meta to stabilize, and they'd respond quickly to the complainers. In addition, new players who are already not at a super high advantage in new metas would have their cards change every week, right? It'd be like trying to build a foundation on quicksand. So you can't do that to your player base and change their cards and change what they're playing with every week, because humans are bad at card games. If we were good at card games as human beings, we'd be able to figure out things. They wouldn't have printed Undertaker. They wouldn't have printed Small Time Buccaneer. They wouldn't have printed Aetherworks Marvel and Magic. They wouldn't have printed all these cards that keep getting...
Ultimate Infestation?
Well, that's coming next. And be
You can
aware
make that
that
argument.
the last show on
I'm
the last
giving you the
Patreon
sweet
show,
segue.
the Patreon
All right.
show we did, I said that card should have Overload 10. So, it's... We're not at the point.
Not a bad idea.
We're not at the point where we fully understand how this meta fits together. It is easier to figure it than past ones because they took a really good deck and gave it more stuff, right? You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But nerfing cards in less than a 6-week window, yes, you might be losing people on small amounts. And yes, the meta isn't super fun right now. I agree with that. But I think making reactionary changes is not the way to keep your player base. I think that alienates more people than it attracts. And look at our download numbers. As a podcast, I'm not going to go into specifics, but when new cards come out, they go up, and then they go back down. People naturally attrition out of the game when new stuff comes out. This one seems a little bit faster than normal, but I think for us to say, we know for sure this isn't getting better, change things right now, it's been not yet 3 weeks, I think it's presumptuous of us, and I agree with Cinder that once you start giving the community breadcrumbs, they will hold on to them. Think about how much Reddit has held on to tournament mode because Broad mentioned it once 2 years ago. You don't.
I'm still holding on to tournament mode.
I'm not disagreeing, but you got to be
careful. My somewhat perspective on this is, yes, normally it takes longer for metas to be figured out, but this meta is essentially an extension of the last meta with a couple of changes sprinkled in. We had no real new decks develop in this meta. It's not like when Mean Streets of Gadgetzan was released and we suddenly had 6 viable new archetypes. We suddenly had Kazakus in the game. We suddenly had Jades in the game for the first time, and everything changed. This is a meta where no new decks have been created, and everything is looking very similar to the way it looked in the last meta, except certain decks have just become stronger, and the puzzle pieces sort of fit in a little bit differently this time around. So I think you do kind of have the ability to jump to conclusions a little bit sooner than in past metas. I don't know that it's still correct to do that, but I think that we do have that ability this time around because it is a very different situation than we've been in the past.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, the only real, like, new deck that we have, it's not even, like, really a new deck. People were still playing it last meta. It's like Rosakus Priest. Because you still had Kazakus and like, Raza the Enchained and stuff. But now you have, like, Anduin to, like, give, like, bump up the power level a little more, make it like a little more consistent, more powerful. But I actually kind of agree with Cora there. It's just kind of like a personal thing for me, where like I would enjoy seeing Blizzard being a little more open with their communication, where they're like view like their stances on potential nerfs, their like views and stuff, like what they're looking at specifically in terms of stats. And I would like to see like nerfs a little more quickly than they've done in the past, but I can also see how that would be detrimental to like community morale and stuff.
I don't think Blizzard being vocal is a bad thing. I don't think they need to be giving us updates every 30 seconds, but
but like
a little bit more often
it
wouldn't
seems
hurt.
like they go like
they kind of go radio silent.
Like 3 weeks or something, where they're just like quiet, just like, hey, we're looking at this, don't worry. And it's like, okay, you're not actually saying anything, you're just saying you're looking at it. Just like everybody is like, tell us something, like give us new information that we're actually looking for. But yeah, I agree. Like we haven't had like many new decks, but like the only deck that we've had is like has existed before, but has like power. But
Big
yeah,
Priest is new, right?
it's like Big Priest is definitely that's true.
Big Priest, Warlock decks are new. Yeah, there's new stuff.
It's a dangerous precedent to set for like nerfing cards very soon.
Well,
but then again, like you're just like a digital card game. Like you can do whatever you want if you have like good programs and stuff.
It's Jurassic Park though. Like just because we could doesn't mean we should.
it's definitely like a weird place to be in. Like you are the biggest per game, you have like decent programmers, and like you can do whatever you want. But like you shouldn't all the time, but like sometimes maybe you should. It's a very weird, like subjective issue.
I have a bit of trivia to punctuate this discussion. Did you know that this is actually still the tournament section of this podcast?
My bad.
Oops.
I'm sorry. I think I derailed it super hard.
Awkward.
It was just a small soapbox.
Small side discussion.
Well,
It's
soap
okay.
is small.
I meant to go into this last episode. I'm sorry. I had like notes like listed out on the last episode show notes, but I didn't get into them, so I got into them now. I think it causes for a good discussion.
Yeah,
but I mean, nobody's like right or wrong. It's just good for like the community to talk about. You know?
This is super relevant though for tournaments because you look at the near 100% ban of Druid. It's not even a total 100%. Like the ban rate for Druid was actually like 70-something% in China, which is like, who were those 30% who thought they knew something that we don't, and were clearly wrong? I mean, the 100% of players in EU taking Druid, probably all going to get banned. That says something. So yeah, no, it's totally relevant for what we're talking about today. So not sad we had that discussion. But Kenny, by the way, that was actually the end. EU summer prelims, deck stats. That's it. Let's move on.
Let's move on. All right. So we have a couple iTunes reviews. I'm going to have the first one go to Cora. Let you cover the first one from our very own Reganis Prime, our producer.
Awesome. All right, so this one is titled Absolutely Superb Show. This show represents the culmination of my Hearthstone podcast search. The perfect balance of analysis, news, tournaments, coaching, and comedy. I'm so excited to be supporting Coin Concede, and I can't wait to watch it hit 100 episodes. I've spent the first years of Hearthstone without any friends to play with, but in the past few weeks, I've loved getting to be a part of this community. This show is my CRACK crack. Cora, RHat, Appa, Cinder, Kenny. Love you guys. Reganis Prime. That is quite clever.
Or Reagan is Prime.
Reagan is Prime.
We're not sure if it's Reagan is Prime or Reganis Prime. I'm hoping Reganis Prime.
It looks
I would
Reganis to
think
me.
that.
Yeah.
Well, either way.
I love the acronym. The acronym
That's
is
awesome.
quite clever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool.
We didn't even come up with it.
No.
We came up with a different one, I think.
Crack hosts.
And Hat, why don't you do the next one?
Sure. This is from our buddy Nutcase over by the. We know him a lot from the Valens Chosen Discord, but he's come over to Coin Concede as well. The review's titled Ample Butt Strength. So I'm a big fan of the show, but I will also admit I'm probably the target audience, competitive person, but not a pro level, who also enjoys bad puns. That's why I like you, Nutcase. I enjoy hearing the perspectives of all the cast, from Appa's pro take to the other members like Hat, Kenny, and Cinder, and Cora, who are not pros but like to try hard from time to time. I look forward on my long commute to hearing their take on the current hot button topics in Hearthstone. Keep up the good work. Nutcase. P.S. Maybe one day I can be a patron, but I did something silly like going and buying a house recently.
Congratulations. Kenny can relate.
Well, I didn't buy anything, but
You moved.
I moved. Yes,
Yeah.
I moved. But yeah, all in time. All we're asking is you to still be a part of the community, and that's what you're doing. So thank you for leaving a review and getting other people involved too. I'm sure it will. All right, so shall we do a giveaway?
Ooh, give away something.
Ooh.
It's episode 100, and we're supposed to do 2. So keep with us. We're gonna keep listening. It's a long episode. I know. I wish I said this a bit earlier, but this one's gonna be a raffle. Or no, the next one's going to be a raffle. This one's actually just all you have to do. You just have to listen, give us a follow, and retweet. It could be on Twitter. It could be Facebook. Just follow us, retweet, get our name out there, and you will be up for a $20 gift card for the Hearthstones for opening packs or whatever you want to do with it. But yes, so very little. You don't have to hashtag or anything. Just follow, retweet our show, and that's it. And we'll announce the next show.
Yeah, we'll have to make a tweet, like a specific one for them to retweet.
It'll be our show 100, like our.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha.
The show
gotcha.
post, yeah.
Gotcha.
So, all right. Let's dive into our best bumper. All right. So, who wants to take over this? I'm gonna just say it's based off of data, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners will who are listening will like to hear this. I think Hat put this together. You want to kind of take the lead on this?
Could you tell it was me by the fact that it's 9 paragraphs?
I mean,
Maybe.
I read a decent amount of explanations. I think I could tell it was you by the fact that it says using data responsibly.
Yeah.
And that you use the words nutter butters in like the first sentence.
Okay, it's
right.
First of all, that's true. Second of all, tell me you don't want a nutter butter right now.
Oh, I can never
I have
tell
Tim
you that.
Tams in the pantry. I need to.
I tried my
You have
first Tim Tams a few weeks ago. Okay.
So good.
So
I didn't know about Tim
kind,
Tams.
Phenomenal.
We have both. We have the mint.
So
good.
Quick aside, my family, like my parents,
Hat.
have Australian
No, you're not.
friends. Whenever I was living in Georgia, and they brought Tim Tams over. They were so good.
Mrs. Ascendant wanted to introduce me to a Tim Tam Slam, which is drinking coffee through a Tim Tam.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on the agenda tonight. Anyway,
oh
Hat,
my
tell
God,
us
they're so good.
So, using data responsibly, these days the world is all about getting as much data as possible. Vicious Syndicate kind of pioneered this. HS Replay and Metastats have popped up. Tempo Storm even incorporated more data in their previously very anecdotal meta snapshots. But data is hard to use, and you want to make sure you use it for good and not for evil, because it's so easy to misunderstand it. It's so easy to interpret data without context. So, I want to talk about using this data without taking the noise along with it. There's a signal and a noise, and you got to make sure you dig out what's actually relevant to what you can use on the latter. So I want to start off by talking about Ultimate Infestation. As previously described, this card is Total Tim Tams. I originally called it Total Nutter Butters, but it's clear that the podcast has spoken. But also it costs 10. So think about how many games where a previous meta, say you were playing N'Zoth Paladin or Yogg Druid, and you died before turn 10. It happens, right? In this meta, it's a little bit different because it's not about turn 10, it's about 10 mana. They're very much not the same thing. But if you get to the point that you can play a 10 mana card, even a very good one like UI, and not die, that means you were in a game state where that card was more likely to be good. It was more likely to be a relevant card. You were more likely to win that game just because you got there, not because you played it. The context of being in a game where you survive to turn 10 means that as you start playing your better cards, the fact that you survived to use them indicates that the game was more in your favor to begin with. I'm not saying you should take UI out of your deck and load it up with low-cost cards. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you survive to the point where you play a 10-mana card, it's very hard to evaluate that card in a vacuum because a lot of Hearthstone is about killing you before turn 10 or before you have 10 mana. To use another example, we can talk about Spreading Plague. Appa's favorite card. He loves it. The card generates a wide variety of reactions.
You lying?
It's the point of me saying what I said is that I'm being extraordinarily sarcastic. So Spreading Plague, if you are ahead or even on board, it is 5 mana for a 1/5 taunt. That card is garbage with an unusually warm core temperature. If you're against a deck that doesn't go wide, say a deck that plays a single large threat, like against Big Priest, you can play Spreading Plague. Even if they have 2 minions, go ahead and get 2 1/5 taunts, except they have an 8/8 and a Barnes and Obsidian statue, and they just bust through your taunts, like they don't even matter, and then they hit you. So when is a 5 mana generate a bunch of taunts relevant? It's when you're against a wide deck that is hitting you quickly. Oh, by the way, those are normally Druid's worst matchups. The card's only good when you're way behind. This is going to artificially decrease this card's win rate on paper. Because the only time you really want to play it, and when it's really going to generate you a lot of life, is when you're under pressure in a situation where Druid would normally lose. So, how effective the card is depends on who you ask, but keep in mind that it is going to be most frequently played in games you are already expecting to lose. So it might turn those games around, it might not, but that's when you're going to play it, is when you're already getting hit in the face by Murlocs or by Pirates. And that's why the card will often correlate with a lower win rate. Doesn't mean the card is bad. It means you only want to play it if you're behind. So you have to make sure you analyze these situations. We even have Aya Blackpaw. Aya Blackpaw on HS Replay has... It's the third highest card if kept in your opening hand in terms of win rate after Wild Growth and Jade Blossom. Now, it's only kept 20% of the time, but when you keep it, you win. Now, that's indicating to me that you're keeping it when you can play it on turn 3, and of course, Aya is going to be amazing. Other times, it has a high win rate when played, again, because you're able to play a 6-drop that generates threats but doesn't do anything defensively on the board because you're not going to die when you play her, and the games when you can't play her, you die. It doesn't influence the win rate. So she's going to influence the data in a very particular kind of way that makes her misleadingly powerful because the games where you lose, you don't get to play her. Does this make sense?
It's a really good card to talk about in that sense. It's a good example.
Yeah. It's very misleading when you think about it initially, but when you actually dig into it, it makes a lot of sense.
And so
it just shows you that like everything like in life and in Hearthstone, whenever you're given stats, everything is contextual. Like regardless of what it is, you have to know the context for everything. So like you need to know when this is played, why it's played, why it's increasing the win rate, what happens like when you play it and you lose still, like what happens when you like don't play it and it's in your hand when you die. Like you have to know the context for everything. Like that's kind of what we're digging at here.
It's like reading a random study on Facebook and hearing that, you know, oxygen causes cancer. Or like, you know, 100% of people who have ever had cancer have breathed oxygen.
Yeah, like 100% of people who have ever eaten a strawberry have died.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay,
it's true,
why
but
have
it's
they
not
all
helpful.
died? Yeah, it's because like they're all humans, so like you have to know the context of it. Like people are just gonna die, like in general. So like you have to know the context of like stats. So that's kind of the thing behind this explanation. Is like you have to use data and you have to like, I mean, if you're scum, like you can kind of like manipulate it to like do whatever you want it to say for you. But like you have to understand like the true context behind it to like use it responsibly and like use it to accurately represent the metagame that it's like active in. Like now, like what Hat was saying with like Aya Blackpaw, like if you keep Aya Blackpaw in your hand, you're not playing Jade Druid correctly. You need to mulligan that card. It's very effective whenever you play it because it's a very powerful card, but you don't want to move in your opening hand because you're effectively mulliganing a card. You want like Wild Growth and the ramp cards in your hand. But when you play Aya, you're usually ahead on board. And like if you're not, like it'll catch you back up ahead. But you don't want to keep it in your opening hand because it like takes you down a card, like everything like that. But everything is contextual. That's like the main point of this explanation. It's like context, context, context.
Don't just read a headline and assume that is straightforward.
Yeah, you need to like
very
vet
rarely is.
sources on these stats, basically.
Well, you need to dig into what they mean, right? There was actually a joke earlier in the chat today where someone was asking, "What are you drinking?" And he said, "I'm drinking dihydrogen monoxide. That's water." And I responded by saying, "Dihydrogen monoxide is the leading cause of drowning." Right?
Yeah.
Water
DHMO is
contributes.
dangerous stuff.
It's true. It contributes to all drowning cases, 100% of them. Does that mean you shouldn't drink water?
Did you know
I
that?
mean, I'm sure there are some drowning cases where it's not just H2O, where it's like,
Well, how about
there's some crazy shit that.
You can spin it even better. Like you can say, DHMO lethal when inhaled.
Ooh.
Absolutely lethal.
Yep.
Or like pure O2. It's very toxic to humans. Like
and explosive.
Straight up O2 is not good for humans. Like oxygen by itself in nature, not good. But like the context behind it, like it's diluted with some stuff, so we're like we can actually breathe it. It's like diluted with like nitrogen and like hydrogen, like some other crap. Like we can actually inhale it. But like O2 by itself, not good for our lungs. But that's like another stat. It's like contextual, you know?
So Hat, do you have any other Hearthstone related analogies?
I do. Now that we've transitioned fully into fake news, we can transition back a little bit.
Oh my god.
So, and in addition to talking about card statistics, which, you know, again, you want to look for the context, it's important to look at also the matchup statistics. Vicious Syndicate is very big on providing matchup statistics, and these are, by the way, these are curated by data professionals. The people that run this website are statistics professors. They know what they're doing.
They're very good at what they're doing.
Yeah, and they curate the data behind the scenes. You are not getting raw data. It is not just cards dumped from Tracobot that they feed to you. They curate it, they edit it, they manage it, they configure their algorithms. There's a lot to it. But it's still not perfect information because there's no such thing as perfect information. And think about where all that data is coming from. It's coming from people that use deck trackers. Does rank 23 that Appa beat up on an EU with J Druid because a terrible person, are they using a deck tracker?
I'm
No.
sorry.
No, you're not. If you were sorry, you would change your behavior.
Not sorry enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. You can't be sorry and keep doing what you're doing. That indicates a lack of sorry, except for me calling you out on it.
I stopped like a week ago. I
Sympathetic,
stopped
but
like
don't
after rank 20.
So anyways, not to focus on how Appa's a terrible person. We can just be
Jesus.
aware of that and move on. So Appa was using a deck tracker, and rank 23 Punching Bag, in this particular case, was not using a deck tracker. Appa is a blueprint, and all of us on this podcast use deck trackers. First of all, the deck tracker itself provides a significant advantage when you're playing the game. There's a reason they don't allow it in tournaments. Second of all, the kind of player that will use a deck tracker is one that is looking on Vicious Syndicate, is one that is reading Hearthstone articles, is one that is actively trying to be better at the game. That is inherently a type of player that is going to be performing at a higher level than average. So, and not only that, within that subset, there is another subset. If you play against Racy or Sidonia, they're going to beat you because they're real good. So if they're real good, their stats with the deck that they're going to post on Twitter when they hit rank 5 legend are going to be very, very different than yours or mine when we hit rank 5,000 legend on the 31st of the month. There are different qualities of player. If you look at Casey and you look at his rogue lists, he has these crazy rogue lists. He's really, really good at rogue. He's better than you. He's better than me. If you take that list on the ladder, you're going to have a different win rate. But keep in mind that he is one of those players that is contributing aggregate win rates of data to sites like Vicious Syndicate, and naturally there are going to be outliers on the high end, on the low end, people that have more experience, people that have more innate ability, and people that construct their deck for a pocket of the meta that they're seeing that have better results with some slight card differences. The win rates are not gospel. You cannot immediately replicate them. You might not play against the same matchups. What you're targeting might change. You might be better at it. You might be worse at it. It's not a game of absolutes and data. This is a game based on execution and tight technical play being more important than any other factor. If that is the case, use the data to guide your decisions, but it is the most important thing you can do for your game is just get better at decision making in the moment, not in picking the right deck for the meta. Both are important, but within a game, within the context of what you're doing right now, making the right play or the statistically likely correct play is what is going to win you more games than following the data exactly.
Yeah, like what Hat was saying is like, if I play like a control shaman deck, I will play control shaman better than probably 99.9% of the ladder. But I'll artificially inflate that data, and I'm a very good control shaman player. You probably won't play control shaman as well as me. So you'll see like some different results, you know? Like, if you see on Vicious Syndicate, like, say I have like a 65% win rate against like Aggro Druid, like you might not have that same experience. It's just it's very important to like take into account like who's playing the deck, what the context is of the metagame, like what you're seeing, what people are seeing that they're playing the deck. So like if they're playing against a bunch of like Aggro Druid, not J Druid, like control decks are going to be fine, but if they're playing against more J Druid than Aggro Druid, then their win rates are going to suffer, you know? That's like it's kind of a hard thing to do. It's like kind of separate yourself from the stats, because like stats are very important, but like separating yourself from the stats to like look at them contextually is like kind of difficult, because like not all of the stats in like Vicious Syndicate or like Tempo Storm or Metastats or whatever website you go to, they're not all gonna come like equipped like, hey, I played against this many like Aggro Druid decks and this many J Druid decks, you know? It's like it's a little difficult, but you want to try your hardest to like vet your sources pretty much and like look for stuff that's not there. Like you want to look like at people's Twitter and like who are playing the deck, see what they're going against, everything like that.
Yeah, and my big warning, boilerplate, what have you, on data is this: the data is imperfect. Like you can scrub it and you can work on it and you can massage it and you can curate it, but ultimately
Omit
it
it.
is
You can omit it too.
Yeah, like it is imperfect. Data is a guide, not a gospel. Like unless you're doing actual mathematics, like in counting things that can be physically counted, 100%. It's a guide and nothing more. One of the biggest traps of user submitted data is that it is circuitous. As soon as a meta report hits the internet, whatever deck is listed as the tier 1 deck or the meta breaker deck, that deck is going to see a spike in play, and other more experimental decks will see less play, and then that just feeds the next meta report. So you kind of end up having like a feedback loop. And
yeah, it's like a circular thing in data.
Right.
So this is like kind of what we talked about on the Patron episode too. Which is, I think there's a reason for circular data, but it just by nature it's circular.
Right. So you can't let the data, be, like I said, be gospel. There are going to be things in the data that just may be not entirely correct just because the player base isn't paying attention to it. So if you feel really good about a deck, like I do with Dragon Priest against Druid, which is, by the way, still sporting 100% against all Druid archetypes, just play it. Like your results are going to matter more than what the data says. So let the data be a guide, but do not let it dictate reality for you. Like use it responsibly, like Hat's been saying this whole time.
Yeah, you should use data as a template, but not as like a theological guide, like you shouldn't go into it and be like, okay, Warlock's like 30% against Druid. You should be like, okay, it's 30% against Druid, but I still love Warlock. It's my favorite class. Or like for me, it's like Shaman. Like Shaman's like 45% against Druid, like token Shaman. It's like I'm still gonna play it because I like playing Shaman, and like sometimes I'm gonna win those games, and like my skill with Shaman like might even like increase the win rate for me against Druid. It's just like it's an entirely contextual thing. It's not like the stats aren't going to determine your experience is kind of what we're getting at. Like the stats are there as a guide. It's not like the stats are here, nothing else is going to happen. It's like the stats are there as like a general guide over all of Hearthstone, all of the people that are tracking just in general,
Right.
Like for me, like Shaman, I'll probably like increase the win rate by a little bit. Or like if you're good with like, say like Warrior or Paladin or something, like you're going to increase the win rate by a little bit. So like just use it as guide, but don't use it as like gospel,
Yeah. Cora, last word?
I think you guys pretty much said it all. It's something that I personally I've sort of resisted deck tracking and things like that throughout my Hearthstone career because for a very long time I was like, oh, I don't need that. Like I know what I'm doing. I know what's in my deck. Like I'm good enough at this game. Like I don't need to do this. But if you sort of step back and like take pride out of the equation, it can be very helpful. It can be very useful. And certainly going back over the last 4 days that I've been using Deck Tracker just for my climb this season and looking at the exact breakdown of what are the archetypes that I'm playing against, how many druids, how many priests, how many mages, and then picking tech cards for that, those lineups specifically has been helping quite a bit. So it just helps you to guide your strategy more so than anything else.
Yeah,
I think you guys got that already.
I was definitely exactly the same. I was like, okay, I don't need to use this. Like I'm good enough. I didn't have it in Magic. I didn't have it in like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't
whatever
have it in Yu-Gi-Oh. I didn't have it in Pokemon.
Whatever TCG I played, I never had it. But then I started streaming more, and people were like, hey, what deck are you playing? Like, why don't you use like HS Deck Tracker or whatever? And I was like, okay. I mean, I guess I'll use it. And then I used it, and I was like, okay, so like these stats are like actually pretty good to like just see and like see what I'm playing against, But like, don't let them guide like exactly what you're doing. Just use them like protection.
Right.
Cool. Hat, anything else you want to say since you were kind of taking the lead?
Data is good. Don't use it for evil.
Well said.
Done.
All right.
With great
All right,
power
so-
comes great responsibility.
Appa, shall we do a raffle?
I guess we should do a raffle. I don't know how to do this raffle, but let's do it.
So this is
Okay.
going to be for our patrons. Another $20 gift card for BattleNet. So
How many do we have?
69.
We do have 69 patrons.
I do remember that number for some reason.
My inner 10-year-old is losing his mind right now.
Your Cora's
do it
inner
for
10-year-old would
everybody.
beat up your 10-year-old. Holy
Well,
smokes.
hey, I was a tough 10-year-old. I was a good arm wrestler.
Hell yeah. So, do you have a list of patrons in front of you, Kenny?
I could probably pull one up.
I have one.
You should do that if we're gonna.
I do
Oh,
it.
you do. Okay,
I do.
there we go.
There you go.
I can do it.
Hat, how many patrons do we have for this raffle?
69.
Just include everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the end of the month. We'll start the new one.
Let's just stick with that.
It's easier. Yep.
Is it 69?
Let's get
Is
to
it
the
actually
raffle. It is actually 69 though.
It is actually 69.
That's not
Okay.
a joke. That's a true statement.
All right. I'm going to use the tried and true method of these mostly random polyhedrons that will rattle along my desk momentarily. 21 through 40. 48 are who was number 48, Hat?
Stand by counting. We're past the $10 patrons. We're
Hell
into
yeah.
the $5 patrons.
No, he's going in the wrong direction. The other direction.
You see, I usually refrain from my language, but Cora has set a negative precedent for this episode. So
I'm
hell
sorry. Oh, that's way tamer than what I said.
It's getting bleeped. Don't worry.
Whoops.
At who's number 48?
It looks like Andy B.
Andy B.
Andy B.
Andy B.
Yo, Andy B, I'm gonna let you know real quick. You hit me up on Twitter at Cyclone Appa or on BattleNet at Appa #1680, and I'll add you because you're my homie and you listen to Coin Concede. So I love you instantly.
Awesome.
Alrighty. I'm excited for the end of the show here because I hear there's some new stuff.
One more new thing to do. Yes. So no emails this week though. I think we're going a bit long, so we're gonna do emails next week. I think it's time to get out of here. Kenny, what do you think?
Yeah, send them to coinconcede@gmail.com. Let's say thanks to Stefan.
I was gonna ask if I could do the thanks this week.
Sure. Yeah, you do it. You do it.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks to Stefan L for letting us use his cover again, like every episode. Check him out at his channel, linked in our show notes. Real talk, go on coinconcede.com to check out our show notes. We got interesting stuff hidden away in there. You can catch our blog posts at coinconcede.com along with our show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at coinconcede. We post whenever we're live. We post some random stuff. We retweet some stuff sometimes. You can like and share our Facebook page at facebook.com/coinconcede. Discord.coinconcede.com is a very good place to go if you're looking for just some people to hang out with, talk about Hearthstone. That's one of the main reasons why we're such a popular Hearthstone podcast is people come for the podcast, they stay for the Discord. You could go to shop.coinconcede.com where Cinder drops some bomb ass apparel on there. It's amazing. It's really good, what he does with the graphics and stuff, because he's a graphic designer by trade, so he's very good at designing things for us.
It's all right.
Don't sell yourself short. It's really good. So big thanks to our producers, Viriatus and Psych Mopka, and our newest producer, Reganus Prime. So thanks to all three of you guys. We couldn't do this without the support of our community, and our producers make this so much easier because they just contribute so much to the show. It's really amazing what they do for us. So we really appreciate all of you. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, just Keep on going with your shout out if you want.
Shout outs for this week. Kenny, Cora, Hat, and Cinder. I know like internal shout outs are like super lame, but like
we've earned them, dang it.
But like Kenny's been going Hat just wrote down super lame internal shout outs. So Kenny's been like working super hard this past week, getting moved into like a new place. With like his family and his kids and everything. Hat's just been working super hard in general, like full-time job, plus Hearthstone, plus streaming, plus like Vicious Syndicate report, plus everything.
Coaching.
Cinder's plus coaching. Cinder's been doing the same thing, coaching, full-time job. I know his situation, like a bunch of like fur babies. He has like dogs and cats, guinea pigs, everything. A wife, like he's been going super hard, and like Cora, like he's been taking time off, like not been doing casting. She's been dropping in. She's been playing Hearthstone, playing Arena, streaming, everything. Like everybody's been doing like an amazing job. Hearthstone, like I definitely miss Cora being on the cast, but like I'm also very, very, very happy that she's like going super hard on casting, because it's really amazing to not only see just like a female caster like being really good in terms of what they're doing at an event, but like just like that female caster being you is like even more special, because I came on the cast like when you and I were on at the same time. So it's like it's really great. I'm really proud of you. So like keep that up.
Thanks, Appa.
Appa, you're just a big old sweetheart.
Just giving me all the happies.
Oh, he said it.
And all of you are big old sweethearts. Everybody's a big old sweetheart. I love all of you.
And Hat, what about you? Who's your shout out this week?
Well, that's a tough act to follow right there, but I'm going to say that if you believe that the meta right now is unhealthy and you still feel positive about what the game of Hearthstone means to you for whatever reason, then you are my shout out this week, because you know what? Hearthstone's been in better places than this very recently, but the community has not. And I admire anyone that can hold the two ideas that the game needs some work, but it's still the one we love and it's still the community we love. If you were that person, if you were able to say this needs to get better, but I still love what it stands for, then you are my shout out this week.
Bravo. Hearthstone.
I thought we weren't.
Hearthstone has like pulled me out of like dark places before, and like even though I don't like where this meta is at right now, I still love the game. It's so much fun. I love it so much.
Hat, I thought we weren't doing internal shoutouts, because I feel like that was pointed at me.
Well, I mean, it's if I didn't say nice things that were directed at you, what could I say?
You could say bad things about me.
It's
You talk about my terrible hair, my face for radio, the fact that my dogs are too small.
My face.
Okay,
for
hold
radio.
on.
Dogs are not too small.
You take that back right now. That's not okay.
Not too small at all.
Hold on. Dogs are
They're
better the smaller they get.
They are officially
well, that's
pupperinos.
not necessarily true.
I'm not saying that big dogs aren't great. I'm saying that all dogs are 12 out of 10.
All
Fact.
dogs.
Yeah.
12 out of 10
Go to heaven.
doggos.
I was about to say that too.
Yeah, if that fits your religious dogma. If not, we're gonna have a talk. Follow me on Twitter
Dogma.
at Appa_HS, and we'll have a talk about religious dogma and relating to dogs.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of Catma, but Dogma's good too.
Who's next?
Cinder.
Me? Yeah, internal shoutouts are really lame, so I want to shout out Kenny and Cora. Only because I'm only going to do it once. It's the 100th episode. It's kind of like a milestone. And I am here because the two of you decided that it would be a good idea. And I hope you're still considering it a good idea, because I've been having a great time doing this over the past almost 2 years. So thanks.
You deserve a welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
What can
my
I
God.
say?
There you go.
You're welcome.
So we're
get me
happy to
wrong.
have you. We're happy to have you and all of you actually. So it's not just me. It's not just Cora. It's everybody. So don't play us up at all. Cora.
That being said, I do love y'all. Don't get me wrong. But Kenny, this would not have been possible without you. You have put in more work to this show than absolutely anybody. You are more dedicated. You believed in it even when it didn't seem like it was going anywhere. And you absolutely deserve all of the credit in the world for bringing this show to the unimaginable heights that it has gotten to.
Would you call him a big old sweetheart?
I 100% I would call him a big old sweetheart. He's a big old sweetheart, but he's also he's fantastic. So thank you so much, Kenny, for everything that you have done for this show.
Have you gone already, Kenny? Or you
I
still
haven't.
have to go?
No, I
Okay.
still gotta go.
Okay. I got something to add on after you go.
Oh, lordy.
All right, so episode 100. I'm gonna go ahead and thank the people who joined us live. You thought I was going somewhere else with it. All right, so we're on YouTube Live, so it made it a little bit more harder. And I think someone called me out and said I wasn't. They were interested to see how I would call out everybody at the end. So let's give it a shot. We have Brosky1142, Ryan L, Scott A, Mike L, Jacob H, Logan V, MD7197, Matt at Arms, Patrick F, Sylviticus, Angel L, Stephen H, Taylor Eve, and of course us in there too. So hopefully I got everybody.
Kenny, that was perfect pronunciation.
So many.
Sailor Peter too, I guess, was in there.
My goodness.
Nailed it.
I tried. And thanks to all of you for sharing the responsibility and not. It was a lot to take on putting on a podcast, and I think I got the best people to join me. So, again, thanking everyone that shares with us. I mean, literally, I've been packing all week. I haven't played anything. I'm getting sick because of all the dust and everything. So I hope next week will be better. But episode 100. Yay! We made it. Woo! We did it.
Yeah. So,
we did it, guys.
There it is. So I wanted to add an extra shout out. So this kind of follows up to one of our previous episodes. It's like kind of a heavy-ish thing, but I feel like it's relevant to episode 100. But during the time, you guys reached out to me, Cinder specifically was like, hey, we're a host. And you guys reached out to me and added me on the show and everything. I was going through a very hard time. So I had moved to Georgia. I had moved in with my parents. I moved away from my fiance at the time. We're separated now, but we were together. We were engaged at the time. And one of the most important things I had going to me at the point was Hearthstone, because I was still in Cyclone. I was competing, and I just everything not everything was great at the time. It was very hard. It was difficult, but talking to you guys every week was one of the things I looked forward to. I looked forward to every Wednesday. I looked forward to putting a sign on my door saying, hey, I'm recording, mom and dad, don't bug me, because I was living in Georgia with my parents. So talking to you guys was great. But everything you guys have done for me, even after me and my ex broke up, I met up with Taylor and everything. I met up with Taylor through Cinder, via the podcast. My current girlfriend, who I'm living with currently, it's because of Cinder. So I can't
matchmaker
even, begin to express my gratitude.
It was my secret plan.
Yeah,
just saying.
I can't begin to express my gratitude to you guys.
Loki, when I met you two at Austin, I was like, are they dating? I have no idea. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'm really confused. And now you are. So
yeah, you guys made me feel better about myself. You made me feel happier. You guys helped me so much, through depression, through everything. I can't even begin to thank you guys enough. Every single one of you here today. It's just, you've done so much for me, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, hopefully we've done the same for our listeners too. That's the goal too.
We got a lot of listeners out
good
there
to hear
who
you.
have said many times, maybe probably wouldn't be playing Hearthstone if it weren't for this great community. And that's the biggest compliment you could possibly give this podcast.
Alrighty, let's head out of here.
Yeah.
Quickly, let's go ahead and go over our contact information. Cora, you go.
Follow me on Twitter at songbird_HS. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/songbirdcora. And I'm going to be casting a lot of Hearthstone next month and maybe even casting something else too. But I'll have to let you guys know when that is announced. So check out Twitch. You'll probably see me there at some point. And hopefully on Coin Concede in the near future as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And RHat.
You can find me on Twitter at RidiculousHat. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RidiculousHat, Mondays and Thursday nights. I'm going to try and get a Friday's day stream in this week if I can, because I'm off work, and it's the first of the month, and I'm in a legend race with the THL guys. So probably going to lose that very quickly, but I'm looking forward to pretending I'm going to participate for the first day. And and you can find me in any Discord, speak my name, and I shall appear.
All right. Appa.
You can find me on Twitter at Appa_HS. Hat has turned me into a Twitter addict, so I use Twitter quite frequently. I'm also fairly regular on Twitch, Wednesdays and Fridays. Usually like 12 to 3, like noon to 3. But lately I haven't been on because Hurricane Harvey is kind of dunking on Louisiana and Texas right now, so I won't be on until like next week. But follow me on there. You can talk to me. You can DM me. My DMs are open. You can follow me on Twitch, everything like that. Just come talk to me. I like talking to people. I like talking to new people.
And he actually sticks to 144 characters too, if you believe it or not.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
And Cinder?
I'm on Twitter at Cinder Ascendant, desperately trying to stay inside of 140 characters and usually failing at it. And my Twitch is the same. It is twitch.tv/Cinder Ascendant. And I want to especially say, follow me there because I have engineered a way to broadcast from my phone on my lunch break where I play probably the bulk of my games during the week. So Lunchstone on Twitch is a thing now. So
that is so cool.
Yes, it is. It was the big challenge was getting the audio to work, and it does currently work. It is not perfect because Android still has not officially supported it, so it sounds a little weird. But it's like I would put it at a 6 out of 10. It's audible and it's not terrible. So, but come check it out. The reason I want you to follow me on Twitch though is because there's just not enough time for me to announce when I go on, and it's not at a specific time. I just do it when I can. So follow me and catch some Lunchstone.
There you go. And I'm on Twitter at KCCO_gamer. You can find me on Discord as well. So that does it. I can't wait for the outro.
Yeah.
Right, let's for the 100th time, let's keep calm and chive on. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
Cold comfort in your victory. You win. I can rest now. You win. For now. Now, your victory proves nothing.
The day is yours.
I choose death. You have triumphed. This time, this hunt is yours.